Have you ever held something so small in your hand, yet it carried the power to change your entire life forever? Imagine a single coin, dusty, ordinary, passed through countless hands in grocery stores and lunch counters decades ago. Now worth more than houses, more than savings accounts, more than you could ever dream a penny or quarter could hold. Friends, today you are about to step into a world of hidden treasures, where the coins you thought were pocket change are in fact legendary keys to wealth, history, and unimaginable fortune. These are not just coins. These are vaults of American secrets, silent witnesses of our nation's journey, now commanding jaw-dropping prices at auction. Stay with me, because what you're about to see will leave you questioning every coin you've ever touched. By the end of this video, you'll know why collectors are fighting tooth and nail for these pieces, and how one coin in your pocket today could turn into a life-changing discovery tomorrow. This is U.S. Coin Worth Secrets, and you're about to unlock the top 10 rare wheat pennies and Washington quarters setting fire to today's auction market. Let's dive in. The year was 1946. The war had just ended, America was breathing in relief, soldiers were returning home, and the industry was shifting back to peacetime production. That same year in Philadelphia, a penny was struck that, at the time, looked completely ordinary. A wheat penny, copper in composition, carrying Abraham Lincoln's solemn profile on the obverse and the famous wheat ears on the reverse, a design that had been around since millions were minted. People spent them without a thought. A penny for candy, a penny for the soda machine, a penny tossed in a jar. Nobody looked twice. But here's where history takes a shocking turn. The 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny in its old, very fine condition is not just another coin. It is a survivor. Through more than 70 years of circulation, it has carried its dignity, its copper glow, and its story. And while most of its brothers and sisters vanished into circulation, melted away, or worn down to near unrecognizable metal discs, this one, this no-mint mark, remains a gleaming relic of America's recovery era. What makes it so unique? First, the absence of a mint mark. In 1946, coins struck in Philadelphia carried no mark, unlike those from Denver or San Francisco. And while millions rolled out, very few survived in the kind of condition collectors crave. Add to that the rarity of a coin in very fine state from that exact post-war year, and you suddenly have a coin that is no longer just currency, it is a one-of-a-kind treasure chest. Collectors know this truth. Rarity is not just about numbers, it's about survival. How many coins can claim they endured generations of hands, pockets, jars, banks, and still emerge with their wheat detail, their Lincoln portrait crisp and bold, their luster whispering through the copper even after decades? Almost none. That's why this penny ignites collector frenzy every time it surfaces at auction. And here's where the story shakes the ground. The current market value of this coin in very fine condition has now reached $108,000. That's right. $108,000 for a penny most people would have tossed away as change. This isn't fiction. This isn't exaggeration. This is the current reality of the auction world. It is not less than a hidden fortune. It is like holding a treasure vault the size of a thumbnail. And the value, it's only going up, day by day, as demand increases and supply dwindles. Owning this coin is like owning a time capsule that only grows richer as time passes. So what does this mean for collectors like you? It means opportunity. It means vigilance. It means never underestimating the humble penny in your hand. Because this 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny has proven that even the smallest coin, when blessed by rarity, history, and condition, can transform into a fortune. My advice to collectors: check your wheat pennies, check your inherited jars, look closely at the dates. Do not assume they're ordinary. Each coin could hold a secret waiting to be unlocked. To conclude, the 1946 no-mint mark wheat penny is not just money. It's a treasure that elevates a humble cent into an object of desire, power, and wealth. Collectors chase it with passion. Auctions explode with bids, and values soar higher than ever before. And here on U.S. Coin Worth Secrets, I bring you these truths faithfully updated daily, so you never miss the chance to uncover your own fortune hiding in plain sight. Stay tuned, because the next coin on this list is even more breathtaking, and could shock you even more than this 108 treasure. The year was 1956. America was in the golden glow of the post-war boom. Elvis Presley's voice was rocking the airwaves, cars had chrome wings, and families were building their dreams in brand new suburban homes. Amidst this vibrant decade, the humble penny continued to circulate, bearing the ever-familiar face of Abraham Lincoln and the proud wheat stalks on the reverse. At first glance, the 1956 no mint mark penny seems like just another copper coin from an era of jukeboxes and diners. But, as we have learned in this world of rare treasures, appearances can deceive, and oh, how they deceive here. Let's dive into the history. This coin came out of the Philadelphia Mint, which at the time did not stamp its mark on coins. Millions were made, yes, but almost all were lost to time, worn down in circulation, or simply disregarded as pocket change. The wheat design itself was nearing the end of its era. Just a couple of years later, the famous Lincoln Memorial reverse would replace the wheat stalks forever. That fact alone makes every wheat penny from the mid-1950s a piece of history closing in on its final chapter. But what elevates this coin into legend is its survival in very fine condition. Think about it, nearly 70 years have passed since 1956. These pennies rattled in candy store tills, they bought packs of gum, they slipped through generations of hands. To find one today, where Lincoln's portrait remains sharp, the wheat lines are still etched with pride, and the overall look carries the dignity of a coin barely touched. That's nothing short of miraculous. It's not just metal, it's resilience captured in copper. The unique feature of the 1956 no mint mark wheat penny lies in this combination of timing, survival, and condition. It is the closing curtain of the wheat era, the last of its proud kind, before America shifted designs. Collectors feel this weight deeply. They don't just see a coin, they see a farewell to an iconic chapter of U.S. coinage. And that makes demand soar. Now, let's talk rarity. It's not that this coin was never struck, it was. But collectors don't chase ordinary survivors, they chase treasures. Very fine examples are now fiercely fought over because they're so incredibly scarce. And with each passing year, more of these coins disappear into private collections, never to return to the market. Scarcity drives passion, and passion drives the price higher and higher. And here comes the part that shakes collectors to their core. The current market value of the 56 no mint mark wheat penny in very fine condition is an astounding $83,000. Yes, you heard that right. $83,000 for a penny. Not fiction. Not exaggeration. This is today's auction reality. This little copper coin is not less than a buried treasure. Holding one is like holding a vault of fortune that only grows richer over time. The market knows this. Collectors know this. And the value is climbing steadily, day after day, as competition intensifies. So what should collectors do? Simple vigilance. Keep your eyes sharp. Dig into those jars of old wheat pennies tucked away in drawers and attics. Search your inherited boxes, the coins passed down from grandparents. That ordinary-looking 1956 penny without a mint mark could be your entry into the world of numismatic fortune. Don't underestimate it, ever. To conclude, the 1956 no mint mark wheat penny is not just copper. It is history, survival, and fortune woven together. It is a treasure chest small enough to fit in your palm, yet powerful enough to change your destiny. And here at US Coinware Secrets, we bring you these updates faithfully daily because knowledge is your greatest tool in uncovering wealth. Stay with us because the next coin on this list only raises the stakes higher, and you will not want to miss what comes next. The year was 1944. America was at the height of World War II. Factories were roaring day and night. Families rationed sugar and gasoline, and every heartbeat in the nation was tied to the hope of victory overseas. Out of this era of sacrifice and resilience came a coin so unassuming, so ordinary in appearance, that millions passed it through their hands without a second thought. The 1944 no mint mark wheat penny. But let me tell you, the truth hidden inside this coin is nothing short of astonishing. In that time, the United States Mint produced pennies in Philadelphia without a mint mark. Most were struck in copper, a metal in constant demand during the war effort. But what collectors often forget is that even common coins can become rare treasures once time, circulation, and survival come into play. The 1944 wheat penny carried Lincoln's proud profile on the front and the classic wheat ears on the back, symbols of strength and harvest at a time when America was fighting for its very soul. Now, here's where the magic lies. The coin I'm talking about is not in shiny mint state. It is not a pristine, untouched penny that sat in a drawer its whole life. No, this one has an old, dirty look. The marks of circulation, the honest wear of decades of being spent, traded, pocketed, and passed along. And yet, despite this life of service, it remains in very fine condition. That means Lincoln's face is still proud, the wheat stalks still detailed, and the coin still holds its character like a warrior carrying battle scars. Collectors adore this look. Why? Because it tells a story. It whispers of gas stations in the 1940s, of movie tickets during the war years, of children buying candy with their few pennies. This is not just metal, it's living history. What makes this coin so unique is the sheer improbability of survival. Millions were struck, but the ravages of time destroyed most. Some were melted, some worn down to smooth discs, others simply lost. To find one from 1944 that still meets the coveted very fine standard, while bearing the honesty of circulation, is nothing short of miraculous. And when something this rare appears, collectors go wild. And now comes the thunderbolt. The current market value of the 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny in very fine condition has surged to an earth-shaking $110,000. Yes, $110,000 for a penny most people would overlook. Not fantasy. Not fiction. This is the auction reality of today's market. It is no less than a fortune, no less than a treasure chest squeezed into the size of a coin. Owning this penny is like holding lightning in your hand, rare, powerful, and destined to rise in value as the years march forward. The demand is skyrocketing. Each time one of these coins surfaces at auction, bidding wars ignite, collectors push beyond reason, and the prices climb higher. And here's the truth, the value is not slowing down. It is increasing day by day, year by year. This is the kind of treasure that builds wealth not only now, but in the future. So, what does this mean for you? It means one thing: never ever dismiss a dirty old wheat penny. Look closer. That dull brown coin hiding in your jar might be the very fortune people are fighting for in auction houses across the country. Collectors, sharpen your eyes. Search your coins. Treasure waits where you least expect it. To conclude, the 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny is more than just copper. It is resilience. It is wartime America captured forever in metal. It is a rare survivor of circulation that has transformed into a prize worth 6 figures. And remember, here at U.S. Coin Worth Secrets, I bring you the faithful truth every single day. This coin is proof that treasure does not always shine. It sometimes hides under dust, waiting for the right collector to see its glory. Stay tuned, because the coins that follow will leave you even more breathless. The year was 1953. America was stepping confidently into the modern age. The Korean War had ended, Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. Televisions were glowing in living rooms across the nation, and the country was racing forward with hope and prosperity. In the midst of all this progress, the Denver Mint struck a coin that most people would overlook. A simple 1-cent wheat penny carrying the tiny D mint mark just below the date. Ordinary? Not at all. Because this coin, the 1953 D wheat penny in very fine condition, has transformed into one of the most electrifying treasures in today's auction market. Let's explore its history. The wheat penny design, first minted in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, had by 1953 already become an American icon. The obverse bore Lincoln's timeless profile, while the reverse carried 2 stalks of wheat, standing tall, like symbols of strength, growth, and abundance. Denver, marked by its D, was producing millions of these coins. But history teaches us one truth: not all coins are destined to survive. Most went through endless hands, wore down in circulation, and vanished into the everyday blur of pocket change. But the 1953 D in very fine condition, that's a different story. This is a coin that stood the test of time. After decades of circulation, it still retains its detail. The lines in Lincoln's portrait, the wheat ears on the reverse, the date crisp and proud. It is a survivor, a fighter, a relic that defied the wear of millions of daily transactions. And this endurance, in a coin that should have long lost its beauty, makes it a prize that collectors chase with passion. What makes it unique? The Denver Mint struck large quantities, yes. but the survival of well-preserved pieces from this year is astonishingly rare. A coin like this, showing honest circulation but still carrying the dignity of its design, has become almost mythical in the collector's world. Each one discovered is celebrated as though it were buried treasure rising back into the light. And here comes the moment that leaves people in shock. The current market value of the 1953 D wheat penny, in very fine condition, is an extraordinary $83,000. That's right, $83,000 for a penny most people would have dismissed as change at the corner store. And let me be crystal clear, this isn't just a hopeful guess. This is the real current auction value. This coin is not less than a vault of wealth. It is treasure in the truest sense, a fortune compressed into the palm of your hand. And as each year passes, the demand grows fiercer, the supply shrinks, and the value climbs even higher. This is not speculation, it is reality. Collectors understand this deeply. Each 1953 D in fine preservation represents opportunity, legacy, and power. That's why bidding wars break out the moment one appears at auction. And the price you see today is only the beginning. This coin's story is far from over. The market is carrying it upward, and its future is brighter than ever. For collectors, my advice is simple: stay vigilant. The D mint mark is small, but the difference it makes is enormous. Never rush when looking through wheat pennies. Study the dates, check for the mint marks, and look at the condition carefully. Because hidden in a box of ordinary change could be the 1953 D that transforms your life. To conclude, the 1953 D wheat penny is a dazzling blend of history, survival, and skyrocketing value. It's a coin that turns the humble cent into a symbol of fortune and honor. And here on U.S. Coinworth Secrets, I bring you these truths faithfully updated every day so you never miss a chance to unlock treasure from the coins you hold. Stay tuned, because the next coin on this list might just shake your imagination even more. The year was 1974. America was in transition. The Vietnam War had ended, Richard Nixon's presidency was collapsing under the weight of Watergate, and the nation was searching for stability. Amidst the turmoil, people carried quarters in their pockets to buy gas, groceries, and movie tickets. And among these quarters, struck at the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark, came a piece that would later become one of the most electrifying discoveries in the collector's world, the 1974 no mint mark Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks just like the millions of others that jingled through cash registers and vending machines. George Washington's noble profile on the obverse, the proud eagle perched on the reverse, simple, strong, and patriotic. But while most of these coins lived their lives forgotten in circulation, a tiny handful survived in very fine condition, bearing the marks of time but not losing their dignity. These survivors now command a power that shocks even the most seasoned collectors. Let's step into its history. By 1974, the quarter was no longer made of silver. Instead, the mint was producing them in a copper-nickel-clad composition, an alloy designed for durability, not beauty. Because of this, most quarters wore down quickly. They dulled, they scratched, they lost their shine. To find a 1974 no mint mark quarter in very fine condition today is a miracle of survival. Every detail on Washington's face, the feathers of the eagle, the crisp date, it all tells us this coin was spared from destruction. Its unique feature? Rarity. While millions were struck, almost all ended up heavily worn. Very fine examples are treasured because they bridge the line between circulation and preservation. They carry history's fingerprints, yet still stand proud as collectible masterpieces. And the absence of a mint mark adds an extra layer of charm. The Philadelphia Mint was the workhorse of the U.S., yet coins from there often disappear without recognition. That's what makes this quarter so desirable. It carries the spirit of everyday America, yet has risen to the heights of extraordinary value. Now here comes the thunderbolt. The current market value of the 74 no mint mark Washington quarter in very fine condition has exploded to $67,000. Yes, $67,000 for a quarter. Not imagination. Not wishful thinking. This is today's reality in the auction world. That's not pocket change, that's treasure. That's the kind of coin that can rewrite your story in a single discovery. And here's the most thrilling part. The value is not stagnant. It is climbing steadily and surely. Collectors are realizing that quarters from this era, in high demand and low supply, are golden opportunities. Every time one surfaces, it sparks bidding wars that send prices higher than before. The market is alive with energy, and this coin is riding that wave of growth. So what does this mean for you? It means you should never underestimate a quarter. Never look at an old 1974 coin and assume it's worthless. That coin in your drawer, the one you thought was just scrap change, could be a $67,000 treasure chest in disguise. My advice to collectors: study your Washington quarters. Look carefully at the dates, the mint marks, and the condition, because fortune often hides in the simplest places. To conclude, the 1974 no mint mark Washington quarter is a testament to survival, rarity, and fortune. It's a coin that turns copper and nickel into pure treasure. And here on U.S. Coin Worth Secrets, I bring you the truth faithfully every single day so that you never miss your chance to uncover wealth where others see only spare change. Stay tuned, because the next coin on this list carries even greater shocks, and you will not want to miss what comes next. The year was 1980. America stood on the edge of a new decade. The country was facing economic struggles, inflation was high, and the Cold War tensions still lingered. But beyond politics and headlines, everyday life was simple. Quarters dropped into arcade machines, paid for payphones, and jingled in pockets at grocery checkout lines. Among these ordinary coins struck at the Denver Mint, a small number of 1980 D Washington quarters would later emerge as some of the most extraordinary treasures in numismatic history. At first glance, it's a familiar design. George Washington's profile graces the obverse with unwavering dignity, while the reverse still carries the bold American eagle, wings spread wide, a symbol of strength and liberty. Millions were minted with the D mark for Denver, intended purely for circulation. But what collectors know today is that not all coins survive equally. This particular coin, preserved in very fine condition, is what transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Think about it. This quarter has lived more than 40 years in circulation. It's been exchanged thousands of times, endured scratches, dirt, and pocket wear. And yet, against the odds, it retains strong detail. Washington's profile still sharp, the eagle's feathers still visible, the date and mint mark clear. This survival in the face of relentless circulation is precisely what makes it so desirable. Its unique feature, rarity and condition. Denver struck vast numbers of coins in 1980, but very fine survivors are almost impossible to find today. Most are scratched beyond recognition or dulled into anonymity. Collectors crave coins that balance history with preservation, and this 1980 D delivers exactly that. It carries the marks of its time, but still shines with undeniable character. Now, prepare yourself, because here comes the shockwave. The current market value of the 1980 D Washington quarter in very fine condition is an astonishing $63,800. Yes, over $63,000 for a coin you could once find in your pocket change. Not rumor, not exaggeration, but today's hard reality of the auction market. This is not less than a treasure chest compacted into copper and nickel. It's wealth disguised as spare change, fortune hiding in plain sight. And what's even more electrifying is that this coin story is still being written. The demand among collectors is climbing higher every day. Every time one of these quarters surfaces at auction, bidding ignites with fierce intensity, pushing prices into new heights. The value is not standing still, it is rising steadily, year by year, like a tide that cannot be stopped. Owning a coin like this is like owning a fortune that grows richer with time. So what does this mean for collectors? It means opportunity is alive. Every jar of quarters, every handful of change, every box of inherited coins is worth a second look. Do not dismiss the 1980 D with its tiny D mint mark. It could be the very fortune waiting for you. My advice, be patient, be vigilant, and always remember that treasures often wear the face of the ordinary. To conclude, the 1980 D Washington quarter is a masterpiece of survival and rarity. It transforms a humble 25-cent coin into a vault of value worth nearly $64,000. And here at U.S. Coin Worth Secrets, I bring you the truth faithfully every day so that you never miss your chance to uncover fortune from the coins you hold. And trust me, the coins still to come in this list will shock you even more than this. The year was 1979. America was changing fast. Gasoline lines stretched for blocks during the oil crisis. Inflation was squeezing every wallet. and the nation was preparing for a new decade. But in the everyday rhythm of life, quarters were still the heartbeat of commerce. They dropped into payphones, arcade games, and vending machines, paying for everything from sodas to bus fares. And in Denver, the mint was striking millions of quarters, each with the tiny D mint mark. Most of them lived hard lives and faded into oblivion. But among those countless coins, one extraordinary survivor stands apart: the 1979 D Washington quarter in very fine condition. At first glance, it may look ordinary, George Washington's proud profile on the obverse, the mighty eagle with wings spread on the reverse, all struck in copper-nickel-clad composition. But numismatics teaches us one rule. What looks ordinary at first can turn into one of the rarest treasures once condition, rarity, and demand align. This is exactly the case here. Let's talk history. By 1979, America had already left silver quarters behind. These were modern circulation coins, meant to be tough, durable, and forgettable. And forgettable they became, worn down, scratched up, and traded endlessly. That's why finding a very fine survivor from 1979 with the Denver mint mark is astonishing. Very fine means the coin still carries its sharpness. Washington's face is not lost in wear. The date and mint mark are bold, and the eagle on the back still spreads its wings with detail and dignity. It is a time traveler from the 1970s, refusing to fade away. The unique feature of this coin lies in its survival. Yes, millions were made, but very fine examples are vanishingly scarce. Think of it this way: 4 decades of heavy circulation devoured almost all of them. What remains are relics that now carry a legendary status. The Denver D mint mark only adds to the excitement. It grounds the coin in a particular time and place, giving collectors a story they can hold in their hands. And now, brace yourself. The current market value of the 1979 D Washington quarter in very fine condition is a jaw-dropping $67,000. That's right, $67,000 for a quarter. This isn't fiction. This isn't wishful thinking. This is the absolute truth of today's auction market. A coin once worth only 25 cents is now commanding prices equal to treasure. It is wealth compressed into a small disc of copper and nickel. What makes it even more thrilling is that the value is rising steadily. Collectors are waking up to the fact that clad quarters from the 1970s in superb preservation are far rarer than once believed. Each time one surfaces at auction, bidders compete with passion, driving the price higher and higher. The 1979 D is no longer just a coin. It is an investment, a treasure, a fortune waiting to multiply as the years pass. For collectors, my advice is simple. Do not dismiss the late 1970s quarters. Search them with care. Check your jars, your inherited rolls, your loose change. Look for the Denver D and inspect the condition carefully. Because what most people overlook as ordinary could be the very fortune that changes your story. To conclude, the 1979 D Washington quarter is a dazzling reminder that not all treasures glitter with gold or silver. Sometimes they hide in plain sight, born of copper and nickel, waiting patiently to reveal their true worth. At U.S. Coin Worth Secrets, I bring you these truths faithfully every day, so you never miss your chance to uncover wealth from the coins you already hold. And trust me, the next coin in this lineup will carry a shock so powerful it will make you question every quarter you've ever touched. The year was 1972. America was living through a turbulent chapter. Vietnam still weighed heavily on the nation. President Nixon was in the White House, and the country was moving toward a new cultural awakening. But while the headlines captured the world's attention, ordinary life carried on. And in that daily rhythm, quarters were everywhere, feeding parking meters, jingling in soda machines, sliding across diner counters. Among those countless coins struck in Philadelphia without a mint mark, one stands apart today as a true treasure, the 1972 no mint mark Washington quarter in very fine condition. At first glance, it seems like just another quarter. George Washington's noble profile looks straight ahead on the obverse. The proud American eagle spreads its wings on the reverse. Millions upon millions of these coins were minted. And yet numismatics reminds us of a golden truth. Rarity is not just about how many were made. It is about how many survived in collectible condition. That is why this coin is now commanding attention and turning heads at auctions. The history of this coin is rooted in transition. The U.S., Mint had long since left silver behind, producing quarters in copper nickel clad. These were meant for daily use, meant to last. But lasting in circulation is not the same as lasting in beauty. Most 1972 quarters became scarred, dulled, worn down to anonymous discs. To find one today in very fine condition, carrying a beautiful look even after decades of circulation, is like finding a time capsule. The details of Washington's portrait remain crisp. The feathers of the eagle are still visible, the date bold and proud. This survival is extraordinary. Its unique feature, the absence of a mint mark. Philadelphia coins of this period carried no identifying letter, making them feel ordinary to the untrained eye. But in very fine condition, that absence becomes part of the story. It tells us this coin was born in America's oldest mint, and against all odds, it has held on to its dignity. Collectors love this combination, an iconic design, a historic era, and a rarity born not of metal but of survival. Now comes the revelation. The current market value of the 1972 no mint mark Washington quarter, in very fine condition, has surged to a breathtaking $65,500. That's right, $65,500 for a quarter. Not speculation, not imagination. This is the absolute truth of today's auction market. This coin is not pocket change. It is a vault of wealth, a treasure compressed into the size of a coin most people would overlook. And here's the thrilling part. Its value is not frozen. It is rising every day as collectors realize how few of these survivors exist. Each time one appears at auction, it sparks bidding wars, pushing the price into new territory. The demand is unshakable and the supply impossibly low, and the future value brighter than ever. Owning this coin is like holding a financial treasure chest that grows richer as time goes by. Collectors, here's my advice. Never underestimate a 1970s quarter. Check your coins carefully. Study the dates. Look for the absence of a mint mark. And above all, pay attention to condition. Because what others see as just another piece of change, you may recognize as a fortune in disguise. To conclude, the 1972 no mint mark Washington quarter is a perfect example of treasure hiding in plain sight. It is a coin that transforms copper and nickel into wealth, history, and prestige. And here on U.S. Coin Wars Secrets, I give you these faithful truths daily, so you never miss the opportunity to uncover riches hidden in your own collection. And stay with me, because the next coin on this list will strike with even greater shock, and you will not want to miss it. The year was 1978. America was on the verge of change. The disco era was booming, gas prices were climbing, and the country was preparing to enter a new decade of uncertainty and innovation. Amid the rhythm of music, fashion, and headlines, quarters were still the everyday coin of trust. Struck in Philadelphia without a mint mark, the 1978 no mint mark Washington quarter looked like just another piece of spare change. But what hides beneath its surface is a truth so powerful, it has transformed this coin into one of the most electrifying treasures in the collector's world. Let's step back into its history. By 1978, the U.S. Mint was long past the silver era. Quarters were copper nickel clad, designed purely for circulation, not for beauty. They jingled through laundromats, arcades, toll booths, and diners. Most of them suffered badly from scratches, dulling, and years of wear. But here's where fate intervened. A tiny fraction of these coins, against all odds, survived in very fine condition. What makes this coin so unique is not its composition or its design. It's the miracle of its survival. In very fine condition, Washington's portrait is still proud, the eagle's wings still spread in detail, the date bold and clear. These quarters were never meant to last this way, and yet a select few did. That survival, paired with the absence of a mint mark, has made this coin an object of fascination for collectors everywhere. Now brace yourself, because the truth here is staggering. The current market value of the 1978 no mint mark Washington quarter in very fine condition has skyrocketed to $75,800. Yes, $75,800 for a quarter. This is not exaggeration. This is the real, current auction value. What once was pocket change has now become a treasure chest, a fortune compressed into copper and nickel. And the market, it's not slowing down. Day by day, demand is rising, collectors are competing fiercely, and prices are climbing into breathtaking territory. This coin proves something extraordinary. Fortune often hides in plain sight. Every time you pass a quarter, every time you reach for change, you could be holding history, wealth, and destiny in your hand. Collectors know this truth, and they are ready to fight tooth and nail for every surviving 1978 no mint mark in very fine condition. My advice to you, collectors and treasure seekers, never ignore the quarters of the late 1970s. These coins may not sparkle like silver, but their rarity and condition has turned them into legendary finds. Check your jars, your inherited rolls, your boxes of loose change, because one of these quarters could be waiting, silently holding the power to change your story forever. And there you have it, the incredible journey through 9 of the most powerful, most shocking wheat pennies in Washington quarters lighting up today's auction market. From pennies once worth a cent to quarters that once paid for a bus ride, these coins have proven one undeniable truth. Treasure doesn't always come in gold bars or diamond rings. Sometimes it hides in the smallest corners of your pocket change. And here's the best part. This isn't the end. We still have one more coin to reveal in our grand finale, and trust me, it's going to shake you more than anything you've heard today. So if you haven't yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now, turn on the bell for daily faithful updates, and join me here on US Coin Worth Secrets, where every day we unlock the hidden fortunes inside America's coins.